Hey everybody, it's been a while, so I want to talk to you today. You have to excuse them. Maybe I'll take my. No, that's worse. It's too bright. You have to excuse the lighting. It's nighttime. I'm in the Peterbilt, and I want to do a video, catch everybody up with where we're at, what we're doing. Been a while. We're still in it. We're doing well. Rates are up right now. Some of you might find that hard to believe. They've come back down a little bit, but they still seem to be pretty high. I'm going to be clear here. 4 semis, 4 big rigs. I have 3 big rigs. Now, I'm not saying to rush out and buy a big rig. I'm definitely not saying that. But as you can see from the title of this video, I think hotshotting's dead. Now, I want to be crystal clear here. You know, I said that to try to be a shock factor, but I want to be crystal clear here. Running a pickup truck over the road, pulling off the load boards is dead. Some of you are going to say you're succeeding. Some of you are succeeding. The vast majority of you that are watching this, if you're getting into this, don't get into that. Don't get into Hotshot unless you've got direct customers and you're ready to start working with them. Brokers have learned. Okay, I've been doing this now 2.5 years. I'm not this big experienced person. I'm coming up on 3 years. I'm not super experienced. I got 3 trucks, so I'm not huge. But I have watched this industry change drastically. I've watched the hotshot industry change from expedited freight, light duty freight, for direct customers, to everybody and their mother who wants to get into it and running for nothing. So what do I mean by brokers? Brokers have figured out, guys, that hotshot now means cheap freight. Freight rates are down for anything that will fit on a hotshot, because brokers have learned that if I got a customer that's paying me $4,000, $5,000 for a load, and it's 2,000 miles, or let's say 1,000 miles, that a hotshot will run that for $1,800-$1,900. So if it'll fit on a hotshot, the broker's going to try to get it on a hotshot. Also, a lot of customers are cutting hotshots out because you get a lot of unprofessional hotshots. And like it or not, there's an alternative to a hotshot, and that's a big rig. There isn't an alternative to a big rig if you need something shipped, right? Like there's no alternative. So if you have a bad experience with a big rig, what else are you going to do, right? But if you have bad experience with a hotshot, which a lot of these customers are, they're getting hotshots. A customer doesn't want to move something that they say is 18,000 pounds. It ends up being 20,000 pounds. They want it on a dedicated truck, and now they can't move it because that hotshot says it's too heavy for them. It wouldn't be too heavy on a semi. So they don't want to deal with that, right? They don't want to deal with those issues. And so you're seeing brokers realizing that hotshots will run cheap. You're seeing a massive flood of hotshots to the industry because everybody watches YouTube and thinks they're going to make $1 million. And you see a massive failure rate in hotshot, right? But brokers don't care. As long as they don't care that 90% of hotshots are bankrupt, out of business in the first year, because there's another 90% coming in behind them to do the same thing. So as long as they can get that load moved cheap, they don't care if you're around in it, in a couple of years or whatever. They just want their stuff moved cheap. So unfortunately, I know a lot of you guys don't move stuff cheap. Know your lane rates. I'm not going to get into the lane rates right now. I have some videos on knowing your lane rates. And for the guys that are going to jump in here, will say, well, of course it's cheaper. You're running a hotshot. Let me point this out. I've had this argument with many people. I've talked to direct brokers, and they agree with everyone I've talked to agrees with me. A truckload, okay, moved on the load boards, is a full truckload, regardless of weight, regardless of length. I can't tell you the amount of stuff we've hauled on a big rig that would have easily fit on a hotshot. They won't move on a hotshot because they've had bad experiences, but it's dedicated. They're paying $4,000 for 1,000 miles, and they do not want anything else on that truck. And we won't run anything else out on that truck because that's deceitful. So a full truckload or a dedicated truck should pay what that lane or more is paying. Period. Don't care what it goes on. Some of you can disagree with me. You're also probably the ones running cheap and running out of business. I'm going to be straightforward with you there. So that's my spiel on it, guys. I think hotshotting, in the terms of hotshotting where people are running for direct customers and running emergency freight and that type of thing, that still pays well. But just getting out, seeing a shiny new Ram and going and buying it, and then buying a $30,000 gooseneck without having a clue what you're going to do, what you're going to do with it, that's setting yourself up for failure. So, guys, it's kind of a negative video. I just want people to understand, you might not be failing, okay? But 90% of hotshots are out of business in the first year. So somebody's failing, and somebody needs to hear this, and some of you need to hear this, that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you don't know what you're doing, if you've never done trucks, if you just want to get into it because that Ram looks shiny at the dealership, then you need to wait, and you need to do some research, and you need to do some thinking. We're doing all right. We're doing pretty good. My big trucks aren't making a whole lot more than my hotshots were. But my hotshots were 10 to 20 times harder to keep loaded at the same rates that I'm running for these big trucks. So that's my spiel for the day, guys. Take care. I'll do a more cheerful one. I am in the Peterbilt, like I said. I did actually just lose a driver. I've got a new driver that I'm hiring, and so I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of my Peterbilt. It's not that exciting. It's just a standard Peterbilt 579, but we'll do a quick tour, a little more cheerful one. We'll talk to y'all later. See ya.